What's up, YouTube? We are back at it again. So the Passat needs an engine. I went out on Facebook Market and searched and searched. I found one an hour and a half away for 500 bucks. I found another one that had the timing belt off of it, no valve cover, for 400 bucks. They swore it was a good engine. I don't trust buying stuff like that. So I actually found a whole car for 500 bucks, a half hour from me. So we loaded up the trailer and went and picked this thing up. Engine fires right up. It's in my YouTube short somewhere. We brought this home, we fired it up. It runs pretty good. Had a bad automatic transmission, but all in all, the car was a pretty nice car. It was hitting the back, tranny. I think the transmission lines were leaking, and that's why it had no gears. I had a huge puddle underneath the car, and it was spraying tranny fluid. So probably could have fixed it fairly cheaply, but I guess they'd rather sell it. So here's the car. The interior, I wish I could use it on the Passat. I did a bunch of research and I can't, but it's an immaculate interior. Black leather all the way around. It was hit in the rear as well as the front. So the front support was all busted, but I'm gonna take all these hoses because those are valuable to me. But we already pulled the engine out. I've taken most of what I already want. I can't open the trunk. I wanted to put the transmission in the trunk because it's gonna be a bear to get inside the car. I gotta get all these pieces inside that car so we can drag it to the scrapyard. And once we scrap it, I'm gonna end up getting the engine for free. Pretty close. The car came with the stock Audi downpipe, which has the catalytic converter on it. Those are worth a ton of money. I know I'm gonna get at least 250 bucks for that, and then whatever we get for the car, I'm gonna have this engine very, very cheap, if not free. So that's why I'm doing it this route. It is a lot more work, but I mean, what's work really? We're out here playing with cars, having a good time, learning things. Every time I pull a motor or I do stuff like this, I learn a ton about the engine. So with that, I think I am going to start peeling off. I'm getting rid of this AC compressor. I want to get this turbo off here and this manifold because we have our own APR manifold in that Garrett GT 28. I will probably keep a bunch of lines, but yeah, the car had 230,000 miles on it. You can see the belt was done at 216K, which it definitely looks like it was. So that's awesome. Let's get into this thing, try to get this down to somewhat of a bare block. I'm gonna leave these accessories on it, but I know the 2000 Passat, this is on the other side. So we are gonna have to flip and flop some things around. This being a 2003, the engine's, newer. It's got different designs. It's predominantly the same. I don't know about this pump, but we won't know anything until we get into this thing. Let's get the manifold off. don't know if this accessory bracket is going to be the same as the 2000. I do know that the AC compressor on this engine's on this side, and in the Passat it's on this side. So there will be some differences, but not many. Overall, it looks pretty good. It's definitely got a hellacious valve cover leak. This turbo has been spewing oil down the side of this motor for a long time. The turbo had an oil leak, and back here you can see we've got a pretty good oil leak up here. Those things always leak if you don't goop them. And I was looking at the rear main seal, and it doesn't look horrible. I'm going to do it anyway because it would be dumb not to. So I want to get a new valve cover gasket, new rear main seal. I am going to be throwing my timing kit on it. I just put that on the Passat less than 100 miles ago. I deleted all of the emissions crap underneath here. Tons of vacuum lines on this engine. So like these here, I'm going to run, we'll have one to the turbo, one to the wastegate, and one to the diverter valve, and one to the brake booster. And then this time I'm going to run a big vacuum to my catch can. So this fitting here is your crankcase, and then up here is, you know, the vent for the head. So this is going to run up, this is going to run up to a Y, run over to the catch can, and then I'm going to run a big vacuum through the other side of the catch can. So not only is it pushing, but it's pulling it. And that's what I didn't do the first time, which worries me because maybe I blew, you know, valve seals in that head, and that's why it's smoking. Or it could be, you know, pistons, a piston ring, oil getting by it. I don't know, but I do know that the catch can has to have vacuum. It looks like this might be a little different, the oil cooler setup, but just heater core here, no big deal. As far as engine mounts, I think they're the same. And I don't know if the power steering pump is a little bit different. Either way, no matter what, the block and the head are exactly the same. Any brackets I would need, anything I would need to make this swap possible is already on the other engine. Between the two, we will be able to get it done. We'll be going from 400,000 down to 230,000. But these cars are fun. This is a cool engine. It sounds awesome. You can hear the exhaust clip in my other video. Nothing sounds like them. They're freaking ridiculous. I'm probably going to do an oil pan gasket, or take it off, clean it, and goop it. I don't know where all this oil is coming from, but I got to assume it's probably coming from the pan gasket. It did have brand new oil in it, so that was cool. Someone took care of it. I cleaned it up a little, and I'm glad I did because I had forgotten all about these. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 broken studs that we should probably get right now while it's at the right height and easy to get to. with some rattle can just to spruce it up, you know, make it look like I didn't find it on the bottom of a river. So that'll look better in the car. And when I get home, I will pull the oil pan and the valve cover, and I'll definitely paint the valve cover. That's gonna take some serious brake clean, but oil pan I'm not too worried about. Looks good though. I mean, it's gonna look clean. That'll be nice. The engine in there, you know, we've only added parts to it, never cleaned the engine bay, just put a turbo on, add this, add that, and drive it. So hopefully this looks a little better. It's not a show car by any means. I don't want it to be a show car. It's just a good, fun budget car that, you know, we can do some pulls with and feel the turbo and all that stuff. So I think I've got everything off this motor that I want off of it. I'm gonna let this thing hang here and dry, and I'm gonna start throwing all this crap inside the car, get it ready for the scrapyard, and get on with my weekend. Car all packed up. I got the engine sitting in the waiting area. Look how good that turned out. Looks pretty good. I got the 24 valve back here. I can't wait to do that with that one. We've got the 2J. These engines are going in something. I will tell you that right around the corner from us there are two E30 chassis with engines in them. The guy wants $2,200 for both of them, and they're fairly clean. So we've been talking about it, and we don't know which one we'd want to swap in first, you know, just to get a project underway. It would be cool to do the VR6, and it would be a little bit cheaper. But I've got this VR6 motor sitting over here. This one's next in line. We've got to put the transmission on it Monday, and then we're throwing it in this car. So be on the lookout for that video. I appreciate you watching. Peace.